start from the United Kingdom, where electricity grid saw a 25% jump in payments to balance supply and demand so far this year, as the country seeks to replace fossil fuels generation with more volatile renewables. The National Energy System Operator spent £2.1 billion, that's about $2.8 billion, for services that included boosting generation in some parts of the country while dialing it down in other locations. This according to data for January to September compiled by the Nuclear Industry Association. Still in the UK, British beef's pride of place on UK supermarket shelves is under threat as falling livestock numbers record prices and stretch household budgets and push grocers to seek out cheaper cuts from overseas. Some supermarkets have watered down commitments to source all beef from domestic suppliers, raising fears that foreign competition could price out local farmers at a time when the UK wants to boost food security. We move to the U.S. now, where the Chamber of Commerce has filed a lawsuit over the Trump administration imposing a $100,000 fee to the H-1B worker visas. Last month, President Donald Trump announced plans that would see U.S. companies pay $100,000 per year for the H-1B visas, which allows companies to temporarily hire foreign workers in skilled occupations in various fields, including technology and engineering, in attempts to rework the program. In a release regarding the lawsuit, the Chamber called the new fee unlawful since it overrides provisions of the Immigration and Nationality Act that govern the H-1B program, including the requirement that fees be based on the costs incurred by the government in processing visas. The steep fee was expected to be a big blow to companies in the technology sector, particularly startups and venture capital-backed companies, which often rely on skilled workers from India and China. Big tech companies, including those that donated heavily to the Trump campaign, have been beneficiaries of the program. It's already difficult for U.S. startups to secure H-1B visas due to limited annual quotas. In Japan, the yen briefly strengthened past the 150 level against the dollar, bouncing back from its weakest point in 8 months as bad loans at 2 U.S. banks drove global demand for haven assets. Japan's currency outperformed most of its group of 10 pairs on Friday, advancing as much as 0.4% to 149.90 versus the dollar. It's the strongest since October the 6th. And it traded at 150 as of 1 p.m. Tokyo time. Still in Japan, the Bank of Japan will continue raising interest rates if economic and price developments move in line with its forecast. This is according to the Bank of Japan Deputy Governor. He says that they will judge without any preconception whether the forecast will materialize. He said this during a speech at an annual meeting of the Japanese credit unions. In China, global companies are struggling as homegrown brands steal thunder. For many companies, business in China has changed for the long term as a fragile economy and sluggish consumer demand are forcing executives to rethink their brand strategy and compete with rising homegrown rivals. From car maker BMW to owner of fast retailing and furniture giant IKEA, global companies have soared on China's outlook, with some withdrawing earnings guidance and others resigned to new normalization. Their gloom guidance illustrates how China's market, overshadowed by a trade war, fierce price competition, rising nationalism, and cost-conscious consumers, is becoming a major drag for many businesses already pressured by higher U.S. tariffs. And in Italy, Italian banks and insurers are facing an 11 billion euro tax increase over 3 years. It's part of the government's budget plans for 2026 to 2028 that will be unveiled today. The cabinet is due to meet early today to discuss the budget law to be presented to Parliament for approval by the end of the year. Rome plans to cut taxes and other expansionary measures worth an average of 18 billion euros every year, with the financial sector being called upon to contribute a large share of the funding needs. This is according to officials.